Good evening and welcome to the September the 19th regular City Council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Will, would you give the invocation?
Yes. Please stand. If you join me in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we come before thy throne of grace. We ask for all your blessings you've bestowed upon us. We thank you for this city, for our neighbors, our friends, and all your blessings that you have blessed us with. Guide and lead us, Lord, that we make the right decisions for the city and move us forward in a positive, neighborly, and remember that we're all friends here in this neighborhood. In God's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any communication from the audience?
They do learn it.
Okay, we're not prepared to present the meeting minutes from August the 15th, so we'll scratch that off of the agenda. Okay, I'm going to go over the grants and where we are with the grants as of Saturday anyway. On the $11.4 million grant, Lake Ivanhoe, the second submittal was sent to TCEQ on May the 5th. The reviewer was expected to have a complete review on the 16th, and followed up with a Q&A process of an undisclosed length of time. There's no further update at this time. Lake Camelot, we received notification from TCEQ that the construction plans and the specifications have been approved, pending any necessary changes coming from the hydrologic and hydraulic analysis review. That's still under review. That's hard to say. Hydrologic and what? Okay. Lake Tristan, Victoria left LJA, and Chad Carpenter is picking up the engineering where she left off. He's still working on the final round of plans for Tristan, and that should be ready for submittal to TCEQ the week of September the 16th. The $7.9 million grant, multiple projects are ongoing. Some complete. 22nd Street is done with a few issues that are being addressed. Sir Henry and Mill Creek construction has begun. We discovered a telephone pole in the middle of the road, and we're working on having that relocated. Yesterday, we discovered that there's a water valve in the middle of the road as well. I met with Southwest Water Corporation this morning. They're coming out tomorrow to address that. I met with Entergy on the telephone pole. They're going to be relocating that or taking it away, one or the other. The $1.9 million grant, this is the Lakewood project. We've had the pre-bid meeting. We've had all of the bids have come in. We had 5 bids that were submitted. And LJA and Langford are reviewing for the completeness of the proposals. And LJA has conducted the references, verifications, and are ready to make a recommendation. The $300,000 grant for Charmaine Dam. We expected to hear something back in April, but nothing has come back just yet. Speaking of Charmaine Dam, we pumped 153 cubic yards of flowable grout into multiple voids that were found in the dam. That work is complete and it's done. We will be discussing later tonight about the additional work that's going to be done for both Camelot and Galahad. That will be the caulking and the ground penetrating radar for Galahad, caulking for both dams. Recently, we had the decision to open the valves on the dams in anticipation of Hurricane Francine. As I've said, this is not an exact science. We are still learning. There was some concern by residents about us opening them too soon and not closing them soon enough. you know, you can't please all the people all the time. We did the best we can. We try to be as responsible and proactive. There's no reason for us to have to go out there at 10 o'clock at night in the rain and lightning to open up a valve in anticipation. So we did, as I said, it's not an exacting science, and we're learning still. Camelot was probably lowered too much. It's down 3 feet. It has to be fed by natural rainwater. So we're going to watch that much closer in the future. That's all for now, Chief.
All right, good evening, Council, Mayor. For the month of August, we had 24 traffic stops, 13 citations, 16 warnings, 32 calls for service, and wanted to put out there, be careful on your speed on the streets. The main streets are 30 miles per hour. The city streets within the neighborhoods are 25 miles per hour, and then the dams are appropriately marked as well. We are working on it with the maintenance department to get another 20-mile-an-hour sign on the west side of Galahad Dam and Charmaine Dam. Excuse me, Charmaine Dam. The dam over at Lake Tristan is 25 miles per hour. Those signs are posted, so keep that in mind when you're going across. We've had some big things happen this week, and we'll put more information out within the next few days.
Thank you, sir. We're going to skip over item 3. David Marshall is not here this evening. He's dealing with a medical emergency with his wife and has been at MD Anderson all week. I've given the information on the dam report, so that's already out there. Number 5, Planning and Zoning, Ms. Williams.
I missed the meeting, but after talking with Lori, she said all of the new members were met and they are getting all the information ready so that they can tackle the next project.
Okay.
May I ask, how many new members do we have?
I believe there was 2 new members because 2 had decided to resign.
I met one of them last meeting.
So it's Mary Friedrich and Curtis Moncrief are the 2 additions to Planning and Zoning. Well, we'll skip number 6 because Councilman Gregory is not here. Now we're number 7, discussion action on ordinance. It's an update for ordinance number 2024-8. It specifically has to do with the impact statement on the budget that was approved last meeting. The budget number and the tax rates are correct. The impact statement was incorrect. Let me see here. So in section 4 of the ordinance, the tax rate, the way it was worded before, the tax rate raises more taxes for maintenance and operations, and that the tax rate would effectively increase by 0.005%. That was incorrect. And it said that on a house of $100,000 in value, it would be approximately $550 increase per year. We found a mistake in the numbers when we were approving the budget, and we didn't transfer those down at the time. This is the way that we're changing the ordinance to read regarding the impact statement. The tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate, and the tax rate will effectively decrease by 0.15%. And will raise taxes for maintenance and operation on a $100,000 home by approximately $150. So that's the amendment. Do I need to do anything further with this?
I just make a motion to adopt the amended.
Make a motion to adopt the amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll feel much better now. Okay, Will, you want to get into the Marsh waterproofing? I've got the,
Thank you, Mayor. Charmaine Dam needs to be caulking. I got it. Thank you.
oh, okay.
Charmaine Dam needs caulking and to finish sealing it to prevent further voids. Chance Construction, for them to caulk the dam, they were going to, their rate was $19.23 per foot.
No, Epoxy Designs.
No.
Oh,
Chance,
okay,
Chance.
all right.
Epoxy Designs, which would be the better company to do the work, they're at $12.50 per linear foot, and when they use our material, it's $9.50 per linear foot. Now there's 12,000 feet of caulking that needs to be done. That's $146,400 for Epoxy Designs to do this job. They're the better company to do the job. Quite frankly, the city cannot afford that. Marsh Waterproofing has come in at a price of $38,300. And I've talked to them several times, and what I've expressed to them is I don't want to use a razor knife to clean these joints. I want them to grind them out. And they said that's what they would do, that they would use our material to what we have left from Chance that we bought before. They'll apply that, and then they'll take a razor knife, cut out the old caulking. They'll put the backer rod back in. They would take a grinder and they'll grind out them joints, and then they will put it in.
So that's a V wheel grinder, so it'll cut a V
Cut
into
a V,
and get it clean.
and we'll get it clean. And that's my recommendation for now, is to go with Marsh Waterproofing. David has material that he wants to try on the dams that they can put down, but quite frankly, with what they have going on, they don't have the manpower to do it right now. We need to get it done. We still have the stilling basin that we need to clean. We still have a lot of maintenance work we need to get done on the dam. So my recommendation is that we go with Marsh Waterproofing to get this dam completed so we prevent any further damage to it.
So to that point, we budgeted $74,000 for next year's budget for the dams. The caulking and the ground penetrating radar, the caulking of Charmaine, the GPR for Galahad.
Just stick with the caulking. That's $38,300 to get that dam caulked.
Questions?
We're just talking Charmaine then for now.
Charmaine.
Okay.
Question?
Yes, sir.
The blue section, which is the section where the overflow is.
Yes, sir.
I think that
Spill.
you had talked about the standard type of product we've been using to caulk the dam not being the right kind of caulk for that portion of the dam in the past.
Well, as it turns out, Marsh Waterproofing was going to use one type of material, but they said we have another one that's quite a bit more expensive. They went into the utility department and looked at what we purchased from Chance, and they got excited though. So that's the stuff. We were using the right stuff. It was just not being applied properly. So what they did was what Epoxy Design did was they pulled up some and showed us what had happened. One side was of the caulk was clean, the other side was dirty. So the clean side was adhering to the cement, but the other side, since it wasn't cleaned out, was adhering to the dirt. So we didn't have a good bond. And this stuff expands and contracts well if it's got a good bond on both sides. So Will and I talked. Will went to Marsh and said we need, he explained that we wanted them to use a grinder, a V-wheel grinder instead of razor blades for the next go-round, and they've agreed to, and that's the pricing that we have. So we're getting Marsh Waterproofing to do the job the way that Epoxy Design explained that they would do it. Does that help?
No, I just was, my recollection was that the caulk that we had used at one time was not the right kind of caulk.
Well, we thought that. We communicated that it was not the same as what Marsh was going to recommend. But they've since said, when we'll talk to them, that they would use what we purchased. So we knew that it would get used. There's $9,600 worth of material.
So we're actually not gonna spend any money on additional caulk, just the labor and the process?
We are.
No,
We are.
we are
We
going to
are.
spend more money on the caulk. We're going to consume what we have.
Plus some extra.
Plus, yeah.
It's a total it's a total price of $38,300 to completely caulk that dam.
We will have no caulk left when we're done with that, right? Our excess caulk will be caulk.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna use it all up.
Yes, sir.
We're-
You are correct.
We're gonna use everything we have on that dam.
Okay.
And I'm probably, and my recommendation is that I'm kind of wanting them to use our product on the spillway. Because it's a better product to go on the spillway. It's gonna hold up longer. Now, whether they're gonna do that or not, and there may be a little bit of price break on this because the spillway is under warranty. They've already done the spillway once.
Okay.
So that may be, we may see a little reduction in price, but the total price is $38,300. And good questions.
We're learning as we go.
Is that a firm bid, or is that gonna be based off of hours or number, or is this firm bid?
Bless you.
Sorry.
No, that's a firm bid.
Okay.
And what I've learned from Marsh, they do work, they come out, they take care of their problems, they're very customer
Responsive.
service responsive, very customer service responsive to us. I had the owner, Tim Marsh, come out, we've met, we've walked this dam. So I feel comfortable with them, and I think they'll do a satisfactory job for us.
Well, we know they did a good job the last time, so.
Yeah, we're having them modify their method a little bit, and it'll be better because both sides of the cement will be clean.
So it actually says power grinding or razor blade scraping, so they'll decide which one is needed best for each one, or, because it says or.
I know, and I appreciate that. No, I called them about that, and I wanted them to take the razor knife out.
Okay.
And
so
he
they will be-
said that they use a razor knife to remove the old caulk.
Okay, and then they'll
And then
scrape
they
down.
come back, and then they grind it.
Okay,
And I said, that will work. But the key point is, that we want, before they put the new caulk in, it is
Clean.
we use a grinder and it's clean.
Will we have our maintenance organization, will be monitoring it, or who will be kind of responsible for monitoring the work to make sure that?
That'll probably fall on Will and me.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about what the involvement the maintenance department will have just yet. What he was talking about them using, on Charmaine Drive South, you see the black tape that's been heated and, runs along there to fill in cracks. On the waterside apron, we're thinking about using that method because it just to see if it works, to cover up some of the cracks, especially where we think that water's getting through. It's an experiment. Epoxy Design said they could come in normally where they would grind out follow the cracks and grind them out and caulk them. But if we can do it with this asphalt tape on the cement and have it hold, it would be waterproof, and it's been very durable.
Thanks, guys.
So.
I appreciate your work.
So what we're going to need is a motion to approve this with the understanding that we will not do this until after the first of the next fiscal year. We've got our budget approved beginning October 1.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
For $38,300.
Yes, for $38,300.
Second,
I'll second. Go ahead.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, lady and gentlemen.
We continue on, Mayor.
Do you want to talk about
Scanning, yes.
the GPR?
Yeah.
I see what you did. Yep, it was a separate line item.
All right. So now that we've moved off of Charmaine, once we get the caulking done, the Public Works Department is going to clean the Stilling Basin, and then that will pretty much take care of Charmaine. Our next focus needs to be on Galahad. We don't know what issues we have with Galahad. So Two-Way Wong Engineers has a quote of $18,480 to do a GPR scan on Galahad. So we have same thing we did on Charmaine. That way we can identify what areas need, if we have any voids, and what we need to have done there.
So what we're going to do different this time is we're not going to do the soundings. We're going to skip that step. When we get the ground penetrating radar done, we'll have an idea of the area of the voids where they are, and we'll have Epoxy Design come in and cut holes in and physically look inside. That was the best method of addressing the voids on Charmaine. We really did not need to do the depth soundings that we did, but it's a work in process. We're learning.
It's learning because we had Two-Way Wong come out, and they did the true thing, and they identified the voids and how big they were. Well, when Epoxy Designs came out, they basically did the same thing again.
Yeah.
And then they came back and filled them. Well, we don't need to spend that money with Two-Way Wong to do that. Epoxy Designs can do it once they see the voids, and then we can move forward and go right into filling them. So we're going to take one step out.
Makes sense.
But the thing is, we need to know what we have going on with this dam. We need to know what issues we have. If we have any, we may not have any. But this is the best way to identify these issues and then move forward from there. And the cost of that scan is $18,480. If I can get a motion to.
Will, one question, do we know what, is it by square foot, the estimate, is that how they determine what the cost is it by square foot?
It's if you look at your quote,
Yeah, I'm looking at-
2-man crew, 4 days.
So
then
it's
there-
more about time than about square footage, what
Yep.
the time they think it's gonna take.
Yeah.
It's gonna take, okay. And when exactly would they be doing this, like timeline, whenever they get it
Once we
scheduled?
get it approved, I'll give them a call, and then I'm gonna get it set on the books.
Okay. Just want to say, would we be in the same kind of issue where unknown rains happen for weeks at a time afterwards and we're in a bigger hole? Like we had a few there. So we started out with tiny holes that we knew of, and I thought they got larger after the last monsoon
We don't know if they
We
did
don't
or
know.
not.
We have no idea.
We don't know what we have going on.
Okay.
We presume that there may be some voids in that dam, but we don't know to what extent or how big.
She was trying to compare it to Charmaine.
Yeah, and Galahad's a whole different type than that one. So right now we can't give any good answers on that one. We need to get in and just figure it out and then go forward. Like to get it done before everything starts raining.
That would be key. Yes. Okay.
So in order to do that, we'll have to lower the lakes again,
Okay.
Galahad, in advance of them doing the ground penetrating radar, because they've got to get across the spillway.
Okay.
We're going to have to lower Charmaine for a period of time to get the water off of the spillway so that we can clean out the stilling basin and caulk the spillway. Once the spillway is caulked, we'll be able to close the valve again and get the level back up.
Okay.
I'm really anxious to get the stilling basin cleaned out because I want to see if there's any sand working its way down at the base, at the toe.
Make sure everything got filled.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is once we get on Galahad, once we get the ground penetrating radar, and then we get Epoxy Designs out here, if we have any voids, get them filled, then we have to get that dam caulked. And the caulking from Marsh Water Proofing on that, their last bid was $27,000 and some change. So that's kind of timeline of what we have
Okay.
going forward, but right now, let's start with the scan and see where we got and move forward. Take one bite
So-
at a time.
So, are there
All
any,
good questions.
any more questions on the,
So I'm just trying to figure out the numbers in my head. So we're talking about spending about, what did we just approve?
38.
38,000.
So you're looking
We've
about
got 18,000 here,
56,000.
56.
Got like
six-
50.
Little less than 60,000 of our budget.
Yep.
We've got a total of,
74?
so it only leaves us about 14 or 15 grand for any repairs or caulking. So we could be in a position where we're gonna have to find other funds to finish some.
Well, we are going to move.
What do we have left from this one?
I'm going to look and tell you right now. You look at the budget real quick.
Just trying to figure out if you've got the money, have we got the money to finish the whole cycle of repairs that are gonna have to be done?
If we have to, I mean, we cannot let this.
Oh, no, that's why I'm asking. I mean, do we need to address that at the same?
Well,
I
in
think
the
that might be a
dam,
budget line item that we have to
dam
redo
budget line,
later.
we have 25,785 left from this year.
No.
Haley's saying, no, we do not.
Did we? All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Then,
We stand corrected.
yeah,
Okay.
then
So
we'll.
we're gonna have to address some budget shortfalls. If there's,
Next
if the
year for this.
repairs exceed 15 grand or so,
Then we'll have to go to the general
we're gonna
funds.
have to we're gonna have to address this in the future before we're gonna be able to probably complete. We don't know what repairs are gonna be required yet, so we're talking about maybes.
Right,
But-
right.
But it's a likelihood that we may have to address this in the budget issue
Mm-hmm.
after we see what's going on.
With regard to Galahad, we may end up having to do a small amount of repair on our own to get us through this budget period into the next one.
I mean, let's.
Everything moves so slow.
Understood.
Okay.
Let's get in and see what we have first, and then we can address them as we get to that point.
Okay. So,
I mean,
So we need a,
there has not been a lot of repairs done, in my experience, since I've been with it on Galahad. It seems to have, there's been a couple of issues. So if we keep cross our fingers, hopefully we won't have too many. Nothing to the extent we have it on Charmaine.
yeah, he's got twice
Based
the number.
on the bid and our experience with John A. Long on the last job, I make a motion that we approve the 18,480 for.
I'll second.
Carolyn, so all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Goodness. The holiday schedule.
Skip number 10.
Did I skip 10? Oh, that's the big one. Okay, apologies. So we went out on bids for Lakewood. And we received four bids, which was good, because on most of the time, we only have one or two bids that come in. We had one from Elite Contractors and Equipment Limited. We had another one from Lakey, one from APEC, and then Texas Materials. So the total bid, it's broken down by project. This is going to be Lakewood from Camelot Dam to Galahad Dam, and from Galahad Dam to Tristan, and on top of part of Tristan Dam. Lakey came in at $1,546,000. APEC Construction came in at $1,226,000. Texas Materials came in at $1,187,000, and Elite Contractors came in at $1,052,000. We were a little concerned initially about Elite Contractors' bid. There were three documents that were missing. It turns out that in talking with LJA and Langford, that those are not significant enough to discount or disqualify their bid. Chad Carpenter, our head project manager with LJA, got a list of references on Elite and went and followed up with all of them. They got very high recommendations from the people that he dealt with or that he questioned. Steve Means, the inspector for LJA, works with Elite on other contracts around the state, and he says they do really good work. So the recommendation from both Langford and LJA is that we go with Elite on this. It's $135,000 less than Texas Materials. I think that that's the right move. Elite contractors, we can use that $135,000 in other road work that's within the city that's tied to this particular job. We may need it at the S-turn on Tristan, even though they're two separate grants. I don't know how we're going to do it, but the 300 feet of 5-foot conduit on the S-turn at Tristan just seems like way overkill. LJA thinks so as well. That's a TCEQ requirement based on their hydrolysis, hydrologic and hydrostatic evaluations. They're wanting to prepare for the 1,000-year flood that we may never see. So that section of road turns out to be eating up more money than what we expected. LJA is looking at alternative methods of raising the road that will still fit the requirements of the grant. So at this stage, I would like a motion to accept Elite Contractors as the winning bid for the work on Lakewood.
I make the motion, we take Elite Contractors for the work on Lakewood.
Are there any questions or discussion?
I have one. I mean, our grant's 1.9 million, correct?
Correct.
And our bid's 1.1.
Correct.
So where's that extra, what opportunities do we have with that extra money to?
Well, Langford and the engineering company get their money, so it's not a full 1.9 million.
Yeah, got it.
Okay? So that, you have to back theirs out, and it's typically a percentage of what the total number is. But what we do have is the difference between what Texas Materials bid. We're still well within budget, and we're going to have about $135,000 in addition, or in cost avoidance. Does that make sense? That we should be able to redeploy in another direction.
The mayor mentioned that we might pave the rest of Charmaine Drive East down to Chanticleer. That might be completed with this money, or we might take it on Camelot down to Total Road and finish that road out.
We don't have it until we get the project done, but right now it looks like 135 grand or so is what we
Yes,
have
sir.
in excess from the grant.
Yes, sir.
The bid. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out, that number.
Okay.
Are there three separate grants, one for the dam up at Ivanhoe, and then one for Charmaine, and then one for the main road?
So the $7.9 million grant is,
Just for
it's a number of small projects. So you see a road that's got, 100 feet of pavement, and then it goes back to gravel. The $11 million grant was actually 10 different projects, which included Lake Ivanhoe, Ivanhoe Drive, Charmaine, Lakewood on the other side of the Camelot Dam, where we had to buy properties from IPOA.
Okay, so those projects are still going to be okay with?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the Lakewood's a standalone, my understanding.
That's correct. Well, it's a standalone. It's pretty straightforward.
We
All-
have
the other
three
ones are
separate
so-
grants.
The others are very, very confusing. Don't ask me any more questions.
We have three different grants working right now.
Yeah.
And one, the 11.9 million grant is for Camelot Dam, Ivanhoe Lakes Dam, Tristan, and paving part of Lakewood Drive. The 7.9 had 22nd Street, it had 28th Street, Ivanhoe Drive East in it, Charmaine Drive East, and some different, it was drainage in part of it. Then we got a 1.9 million dam to finish paving the rest of Lakewood. So there are 3 separate grants all working at one time within the city.
So with Lakewood, what the work is going to entail is an excavation of 4 inches. They're going to grind it all up. They're going to excavate 4 inches of material to take it down. They're going to bring in 4 inches of limestone and build it up, pack it down, and then 2 inches of asphalt on top of that. But that 4 inches of road base that they're going to excavate, we're going to be placing it in strategic places around the city to use that for road base on some of the other roads in here. That's roughly 150 dump truck loads of material that we're going to have to find places to store.
That's really good. This will be a good product.
And I want to say that IPOA is working with us and allowing us to use some of their property to stockpile this material until we can find places to use it.
Now, how long do they expect this project to take this?
Which one?
30 Lakewood, 30 days.
Just the lake.
30 days once they break ground.
That's a big deal.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we have a motion.
Did we get a part with those?
He,
I made a
believe
motion.
Will made the motion.
Didn't get seconded though.
I'll get second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Elite Construction. Now then, to the Hollywood holiday schedule. So we had 8 holidays in 2024. Two days for Thanksgiving, 2 days for Christmas, 1 day for New Year's. We're going with Good Friday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, and the addition of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is on a Monday. Thanksgiving is always Thursday, Friday. Christmas will be Wednesday, Thursday of this year. Of course, January 1st. So it's going to be, it's a total of 10 days. Is there any,
Make a motion that we accept the proposed holiday schedule, 10 days as proposed.
I'll second.
any discussion
Yeah,
before we?
let me look at this.
This affects our city employees.
That's correct, that's
Yes.
all. The only real addition is Veterans Day.
It doesn't add a day because of the way the other holidays fall.
Correct.
We're just keeping the same number of days.
The second?
Already have it.
Already got
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank y'all. Ms. Williams, you're up.
Okay. So all financial documents were received on September 16th. They were sent out same day to council, along with the accountant's financial reports and the reconciliation details for each account. The state comptroller direct deposited $7,615 on September 13th for sales and use taxes that were collected in July and reported to the comptroller in August. Last year in the same month was $7,060, and last month the sales tax deposit was $7,993. The July ad valorem taxes were received on September 16th as well, totaling $6,605, with $5,452 going to maintenance and operations and $1,153 for the interest and sinking fund. I don't have the calculated year-to-date numbers for the taxes. There was some software issues with the tax office, and they weren't able to get those numbers to me. I put the letter from Melissa Carson in with the packet so that you guys could see exactly what she said.
That's in there. The total pledging at Citizen State Bank didn't exceed the $250,000 FDIC limit, and therefore CSB did not pledge. Our Texas class interest rate remained at 5.2% area through another month. Aside from the tax totals, the totals for the various departments' budgets are all correct, have been reviewed. The bank statements have been reconciled, and I do believe the August financials can be approved, unless you want to wait on the tax totals. We can do that next month. But those don't affect the totals, the ad valorem, or any of the taxes coming in.
Do you know if our Texas class interest rate is tied to the prime, to the, what the Fed does? Are we expecting that to change with maybe the Fed rate action?
I'm not sure. It's,
Good question.
that is a good question, and I can definitely find that out for you. I'm
Can you
not,
ask that question, please? I think that with interest
I sure-
rates affecting it.
I sure can. I know
We
it's,
have lived off this, and it's helped us a lot.
Yes.
But
and it's been pretty steady for as long as I've been here. It's stayed 5.1, 5.2, but I will definitely find out what it's tied to and if it's gonna, right. I can do that.
thank you.
What do we do here?
Just approve.
Make a motion to approve the financials?
I'll make a motion, we approve the August financials as so stated, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Check Texas class percentage rate.
I don't know that it's going to change, I'm just curious.
Yeah, we don't have much control over it, but it's gonna be interesting. Pardon?
Said it's seen it all over the news.
Yeah. Well, this is your item here. Yeah, we're not gonna do that, so
We're done?
I make the motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Will, what did he say? It was
I'll
yours
say
for
it
me.
easy
No one else
one.
can
Cause I said I was going right to it.